Hello and good morning and welcome to your Wednesday. Wednesday. Days are all merging together at the moment, but it is Wednesday. It's day 7 of Inktober. So I hope that you had lovely Tuesday afternoons and enjoyed yesterday's session if you joined us. I think I've got the picture here and I'm actually pretty chuffed with it. I think it's pretty cute. I was proud showing it off yesterday. Yeah. So we've got a fun one today. It's a little bit, I've taken it to a kind of British vibe, just because that's the first thing that popped into my head with the prompt word. The prompt word today was fancy. Fancy. So you could do anything you wanted with that if you don't want to do what we're doing today. But I have gone for a British theme, so let's see how we get on with it. Let's spin you around. Yeah. Still getting used to the new setup with the new space. Ooh. Always. And hopefully it will focus a little bit today. I'm going to use my fine liner pen to start with, and then I'll use the ink that we've been using at the end, just because, I don't know, I'm not confident enough to use it straight up, and I don't want it to be a complete mess. I want you to be able to follow it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to be drawing 3 things, like 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to start with the front one here, just so that you have a rough idea of what's going on. And at the front, we're just going to draw 2 lines, imagining it's like a V, an upside down soft V shape, but instead of drawing an actual V, we're going to do a hump in the middle of it too. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to go diagonally up and then do a hump and then diagonally down like that. So like a little hat, like a sun hat almost, the top of a sun hat and then its brims, but these are coming off in diagonals like that. Okay, then we're going to do a soft corner and bring them straight down in a vertical line. One there, soft corner, straight down, one there. So about that length, but it can be longer, can be shorter. You can adjust it as we go. Okay, now I want you to imagine that we are drawing the perspective of a square. So these 2 lines would be coming down here to form a V, but we're not going to draw that. We're just going to give the suggestion of that line coming to about where this hump ends. I'll show you what I mean. So imagining that there's a line coming straight from the end of the hump, and then there's a line that we want to come here. We're just going to do kind of a dotted line like that. You can barely see, I'll show you up close. So kind of dotted line that ends where, roughly where this would be coming down, but it doesn't matter too much. Okay, now from the end of here, we're going to draw another vertical line that goes down about the same distance, same length of line as here, so it would end up a little bit further down because this bit starts a bit further down. And the same here, like that. Okay, now we're going to draw a small line that comes kind of across like this. So we're creating another little square here, but it's just a small line, and the same there. And then we're going to do another curve coming up like that. You're like, what is this? Especially if you're not from the UK, you'll be like, what on earth are we drawing? Okay, but bear with me, you'll know what it is, I'm sure. Okay, then we're going to give the suggestion that this bit is actually like a bobble on top, so we're going to just kind of do a little line that suggests that that is like a bobble that's placed on top, but it's not a hard line. Okay, then we're going to do a similar line coming up here, except this can be kind of a bit more jaggedy line like that. Then we're just going to draw little lines that kind of roughly make that bit a little bit rough. Okay, then we can also draw lines to connect these bottom two in the same angle as we've drawn here, like that. Okay, but stay with me. Now we are going to draw a pattern on this shape. So we've drawn this little shape, and the pattern is just going to be lines that as if something's been dribbled over it. So you can follow the shape of the lines to make it look more 3D. So I'll start here. I'll just come up here, straight up, vertical, and then it goes slightly across in the same angle as that. And then it's going to come up, down, across, and down. And I'm going to end it halfway there. And then, oh, I think my coffee's arrived. Thank you. Amazing. Now my voice won't sound so husky and morning-y because I have coffee. I'll just finish this. So then you have to turn this line into a double line. So let's start from where we started and just make it a thick line because you can change the color of it later. But you see how when you draw this line in the same angle as the shape, it makes it look 3D. And then here I'm going to do a swoop and have the line come back, straight back up, go off there. See what I mean? And that's the general design of this. So let's do another swoop coming down here. But you could do different design. You could do any kind of design that pops into your mind. But I'm just doing the classic look of this little cakey treat. So just filling in more bits there, like that. And there's a bit of a space here, so maybe I'll draw another line. Comes down, like that. Okay, does anyone know what this is? I'm gonna now imagine that there's a, this is coming around and I'm gonna do a faint kind of line here because in this bit, it will be a different color when we come to paint it. But this bit is all bitty. All right, I'm going to put that down. Hopefully you can still see. Now I need to embellish this. So it is quite a detailed little drawing, this, I must admit. So well done if you've kept up and you're happy with what's going on. Now I want to draw the paper that comes around it. So this is a fondant fancy, or a French fancy, as some people call it. But I remember it as a fondant fancy. And it is like a really sweet little cake that has a cream top, covered in icing, and then sponge cake at the bottom. And they always come in like little paper, concertina style paper things, like a lot of cupcakes do. So we're going to draw that, except this one's been eaten, so we're going to draw it as if it's been pulled out. So it can start from about here, and it can kind of be wobbly, wobbly, wobbly until it's pulled out like so. And then it's going to wobble back in. And we're going to do a kind of play on perspective here, like that. So I've just drawn this. Now I'm going to make it seem a bit clearer. I'm going to do lines that come out. These ones are going straight up, as if it's being pulled. And then imagining behind this, there's a really tight concertina style. So the lines are just going to go directly into the cake like that, and then you can put some kind of crummy bits juicy bits there. So, I mean, that's just my interpretation of how it would be drawn. It's actually hard to find a reference picture of that. I Googled, you know, fondant fancy with the paper half pulled off, and no, I couldn't find anything that I could draw from. So that's from my imagination, how I imagine it would be. If you've got a better reference, or if you think you could come up with a more realistic looking pulled out paper look, then please be my guest. Okay, fondant fancy number 1, pretty much done. You could add little bits and bobs to make it look more realistic if you want. I need to have a little sip of coffee because I can't speak, so one sec. Oh man, that was good. I muted you, so hopefully you didn't hear that gross swallowing. Anyway, now you can leave it at this. If you really like this simplistic look and it's kind of like cute, you can make it into a little birthday card or something, or you could go all out and spam it and make it look trashy, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 2 more fondant fancies that haven't been touched, one here and one here, so slowly getting smaller. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do it at a different angle. So this one's kind of coming this way. I'm going to have it turned that way and just have it straight to make it easy for me. So I'll draw the first line, which is kind of the top curve. So it's just going to be a dotted line. Then I'm going to draw the mound of delicious sweet cream. Again, the bottom bit's a little bit dotted. And then at the perspective, I'm going to have the lines coming in and across, in and across. So you can see it gets smaller towards the back because it's going backwards. It's the perspective of it. Round these corners, bring it down. Round that corner, bring it down. And then this one's got a tight paper around it. So the way I'm going to do that is to just do a really tight squiggly line, as tight as I can, and a little pressure, and have it kind of disappearing off into the background like that, and then bring it down to about the distance that this is. This may be a little bit long, so let's cut it off there and across, and then just simply drawing lines that go straight down, because this one has not been eaten yet. Clearly not on my table. I used to go wild for these as a kid. And do you know what? After researching these last night to get a reference picture to draw from, I then was like, oh God, I would absolutely love a fondant fancy right now. They're kind of gross because they're like so sweet and almost like a manufactured taste, you know, like really, really processed, not like a home-baked cake, but there's something about them. I mean, it's probably just nostalgia, right? Just made me, I was like, oh man, I want fondant fancy. And then I was like looking at British tea shops and British confectionery shops, thinking, can I order them online? Luckily, I couldn't find them to order online to send to Germany, because otherwise I was in the mood where I may have ordered them. Okay, so this one I'm going to do diagonal like bits across it. You could also do them vertical or horizontal. But do you see how it just follows the shape of the object and really turns it into a 3D kind of situation? And it's doesn't have to be neat because it's meant to just be like the baker has just strewn it across without thinking too much, I assume anyway. Like that. And there we have, boom, fondant fancy number 2. Now, if you don't know fondant fancies, you won't know that they generally come in 3 colours. So therefore, I will do a third. Usually, what is it? Chocolate with like a dark chocolate covering, then it is yellow with a brown covering, and then it is strawberry or pink with a white covering, I think, although I'm going to have to look back at my reference before I colour them. Which one was your favourite? Which flavour was your favourite? I think most people probably like the pink, but do you know what I liked? It wasn't the pink, it wasn't the brown, it was in fact the yellow. Interesting fact about me. Okay, I'm going to do a second one here, a little bit further back, so it's going to be a little bit smaller, just ever so slightly. I say that and then I'll make it bigger, so let's think about this. I'll do it here. I want to try and make it, yeah, probably about that size. And then I'll do the bump, and then I'll do the perspective. Doesn't have to be perfect. And do the little sides, and then I'll do the wrapper. And bring that down, and across. Man, I love fine liners. They just make it so simple to get down what you want to get down, and then it kind of looks final. Well, it is final because you can't really rub it out, but I love the way that fine liners look. Not to bash the ink, I'm not sure how I'm going to use the ink in today's session, because I love this simple illustration style. I think it looks really strong, if I say so myself. Okay, so that one's a little bit further away, like that, but see how like this kind of dense mark making lines really gives the drawing like body. I think that's cool. Okay, and then I'm going to do, I think I'll do lines that go across. So just do kind of a wobbly line that goes across there. And then kind of comes up and down. Another one. But then, of course, remember you can do your own thing. You don't have to do these lines. I'm just keeping it traditional. Sorry, you don't need to abbreviate. Okay, and that one going off down there to make it look like that was may have been a mistake. Ooh, okay, so there we have 3 fondant fancies. Now I'm so tempted to leave it here because I think it's actually a really sweet little painting or drawing, and maybe add a little bit of colour to it. However, I was gonna do, I'll show you my plan so you can laugh. I was gonna do a fancy like theme, and this was part of the plan, to do like a fancy hand reaching in to take them, and maybe some like fancy champagne glasses with some fancy flowers, roses or something, to spam it up a little bit. But now that I've done it in the reality, I actually really like it as it is. So maybe I'll leave it for once and not ruin it by spamming it with all the funny stuff. I do like the funny stuff. Is it boring without it? All these decisions to make with or without? With or without the hand? Oh, I'm tempted to make it funny. This is always my default, is I do a nice drawing and then I just ruin it by. Because actually, to be honest, am I going to put this up on the wall? Am I going to give it to someone? Probably not. So why not go for it and make it look experiment? Let's try. Okay. Well, we've drawn many hands together, haven't we? So usually I just try and copy my own hand and have hands come reaching in. Maybe I'll draw lots of fancy hands, and that will be. Maybe I'll draw the fancy hands in ink. No, I'm going to draw them in pencil. Just completely defy the rules of Inktober. I've got a little 2B here. And let's try it, and then I can always draw that out, but I won't. Okay, so I'm going to draw. I'm going to start with the nails. So 1 nail, 2 nails, 3. So that's like 1, 2, 3, and then the pointy fingernail, like that. And then I will do just the right or the top side of the finger. To be long, elegant fingers. The top side of that finger, the top side of that finger, the top side of that one. Oof. Very long, thin, and then I can do the other curve there. And this one has come down, and then out to the fleshy bit of the hand. And maybe I'll draw the thumb on the side there. This pencil's not very good. Bad workman always blames his tools, though, don't they? I'm going to switch my pencil. I've got probably an even worse pencil. Oh, yes. Where are all your pencils? Oh, I have another one. Okay. And then I want to draw like a big ring. And another one, maybe different shape. Another one. Lots of bling. Draw the little creases that you get here. And then the creases in the middle. And maybe the knuckles. And then I'm going to draw another one. I'm not going to draw the champagne, I'm going to just draw lots of hands. So maybe another hand with nails. 1, 2. This is kind of like a session in itself, isn't it? Drawing hands, but it is quite fun to practice in when they're not the center of the drawing. You kind of feel a bit less pressure to make them look good. Maybe. Not sure what's going on with that thumb there. We'll see if this one's got an even bigger ring. I mean, because who really wears a little finger ring? They always just fall off and then you lose them. That's like my experience as a young person that tried. Not anymore. We don't try anymore. Just wear the rings that aren't going to fall off your fat fingers. And you won't be sad. Okay, there's the second one. Maybe I'll draw another one in the background. Everybody wants the fondant fancies. I wish I had a better pencil or a sharpener nearby, but we don't plan these things, girls. They just come as you are, and then hope for the best. That should be the tagline for these sessions. It's got 4. I need to do one more hand and then I'm going to stop because I'm just getting crazy in here. And I'm getting lazy. Look at this drawing because I'm annoyed with this pencil. Lazy, lazy drawing. Can't wait to see what everyone else has been doing for fancy today though. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I'm even going to add some ink. Am I? Could add like a tiny little drop of it. Although this ink is so pungent, maybe just like a little kind of shadow here, just so that the Inktober people can't say you're breaking the rules. Although I don't think that is the way. Inktober, I think it's pretty chill, but still. There we go. A little bit of ink for Inktober. I think I need to sit and work on this and see where I can take it with a bit of colour and reevaluate my hands. But generally, I'm pretty happy with the illustration of the French fancies or the fondant fancies. And honestly, I'm probably going to be craving them now until forever, because God knows when I'll go back to the UK with all this crazy world. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today and you have some nice fondant fancies and maybe some creepy hands sneaking in, maybe not, maybe you did something completely different. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been so fun. I will be back here tomorrow for Thursday's session and day 8. What is the thing? Ooh, interesting tomorrow. Interesting. So we shall see what we come up with tomorrow. We've done things like, yes, like tomorrow's prompt before, so I'm sure we can come up with something good. Take care of yourselves and I will see you tomorrow.